and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I filmed this simple, pretty effortless looking eye look. The face is pretty full coverage, so if you are not a full coverage type of person, then I would definitely skip a few steps or just do what you typically do for your base routine. But the main focus of this video is the eyes. It is a pretty simple look. As you can see, it's nothing super crazy going on. It is just 3 colors and then a set of lashes. And of course, you can absolutely wear this look with no lashes at all, just throw on that mascara, but I felt like being a little extra today and popping on a pair of lashes. All right, you guys, so we are jumping right into this video. As you can see, I already have my brows on. I'm gonna be going into the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. And again, I'm just going to be taking this primer and going right into the areas where my pores are a little bit larger. So my cheek area and my nose, and then down the center of the face. I like to tap and then gently rub the primer into all the areas that I need. And then whatever's left over, I just hit the perimeters of my face. From there, I'm going to go in with that peach color corrector from Cover FX. I'm just going to put that underneath my eyes into those dark circles. And I'll blend a little bit into this inner corner. Then using my damp beauty sponge, I'm going to just blend it out. So for foundation today, I'm going to be going in with a little cocktail. This is the Smashbox Studio Skin, the 15-hour wear in the shade 2.12. This is a light foundation with neutral undertones. And then I'm also going to be going in with the Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation from NARS in the shade Fiji. So what I like to do is take an actual foundation brush and I like to literally paint the foundation onto my skin. And I like to focus it mainly in the center of the face because that's where I need the most coverage. And then I go in with the damp beauty blender and blend everything out. I do this little cocktail is because I just love the way that these two foundations look together. The NARS foundation gives my skin that really natural, beautiful, radiant look. And then the Smashbox foundation helps keep any oil that I have under control. And of course, don't forget to blend that down the neck. And whatever's left over, I just like to take the excess in the areas where I just need a little bit more coverage. I have a couple blemishes that are still peeking through, and then just a little bit of redness that I like to cover up. I personally like to take whatever leftover foundation is left on the beauty blender and just drag it underneath my eyes. This isn't a necessary step, but because I have a little bit of darkness underneath there, it just helps cover it up, and then I get to use less concealer in the next step. Next, I'm going to go in with a little bit of the Chanel Cream Bronzer and this MAC, oh my god, it's so old that the number's faded, 130 brush, I think. It just looks like this guy. And I just like to swirl it around in the product, tap out the excess on my hands, and then just go in the typical areas where I would bronze. I just love the way a cream contour looks, and then later on throughout my routine I just use a little bit less powder. So I go back and forth between the brush and the beauty blender, so mainly just use the brush to apply the product and then use the beauty blender to blend it all out. So for this, again, I go from the top of the ear down towards the corner of the mouth, but I stop right when I get to my cheek area, which is in line with the corner of the eye. Again, back with the beauty blender to blend it out. And then I'm also going to take it on the jawline. What's great about cream contour is that if you mess up, you can just go back in with a little bit of foundation and clean up any of those areas. And then I'm going to take whatever leftover product that's on the brush, and I'm just going to bronze the sides of my nose just so that everything blends in together. Back in with the beauty blender so that it doesn't look like there's mud on my face. Now for the best part of my entire routine, concealer. I'm going to be going in with this new Smashbox Studio Skin Flawless Concealer. This is in the shade Light Warm. Now underneath the eyes, the chin, down the center of the nose, in between the brows, and on the forehead. Okay, back in with that beauty blender. So this one's not going to be as bright as I typically use, but that's okay because I am going for a more, I guess, natural look today. Has good coverage though. It's just not as bright as I'm used to. It does feel really good on the skin. It's just not as bright as I'm used to, but I really do like this concealer. And then whatever's left over on my beauty blender, I'm just going to take it over my lids to prep them for shadow. Now that we have all of our creams on our face, I'm going to go in with my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, and I'm going to set the under eyes with that damp beauty blender. And again, I'm just going to gently press it underneath the eyes and around the nose. Whatever's left over, just taking it on the lids. Take a little bit of that powder on the chin and around my mouth into my smile lines. Because I tend to make a ton of facial expressions, I like to bake just in between my eyebrows. And then whatever's left over, just gently pounce it on the rest of the face. While I let my under eyes bake, I'm going to go in with my bronzer. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And again, that big Smashbox brush. I'm just going to set that cream contour that we put on earlier. Now that I've gone in with my bronzer, I'm going to go in with a little bit of Hoola by Benefit. Yes. And the reason that I like to bronze and contour is because the bronzer gives me the more warm sun-kissed look, and then the bronzer is a little bit more of an ashier undertone, so I'm able to contour with it. I'm going to go in with this Smashbox contour brush and just hit the cheeks, a little bit into the temples, lightly dust the forehead one more time. I really like this brush. It like hugs the cheek area. We are all bronzed and contoured. I'm going to take a little bit more of that Laura Mercier translucent powder on a little triangle sponge, and I'm going to just clean up directly underneath that contour. And I know this looks super, super crazy, but this is just going to help the contour look a little bit more snatched, if you will. Take this powder from underneath the top of the contour all the way down into the corner of my lip. So as you can see, it's just going to be a sharper line. I have a powder beard. I'm going to zoom you guys in a little bit, and we are going to do our eyes. Okay, you guys, so for our eyes, I'm going to be going into the Dose of Colors Friendcation palette, and I'm going to be starting in on this color right here, which is called Basic. And I'm going to be going in with a fluffy brush like this. This one is from Sigma. It is the E40, I believe. Yes, it is the tapering blending brush. So I'm going to take Basic, and I'm just going to put this into my crease. If you are having a hard time finding where your crease is, I always recommend just slightly tipping your head back and then popping the brush into wherever your eye folds initially. So I'm going to take that color back and forth, windshield wiper motions, small little circular motions. I just want to make sure that the color is blended all the way from outer to inner corner. On the outer corner, because that's where I want the most product to go, and then with whatever's left over, I like to bring it into the inner corner of the eye. With a little bit more of that color, and just build it up a bit. Now onto the other eye, same thing, starting out in the outer corner, and then slowly working my way in towards the inner corner. Now I'm going to go in with a slightly smaller blending brush. This one is the E25, again by Sigma. I'm going into this color right here, which is called Churro. So it is just a darker, more warm tone brown. Now with this color, I'm going to focus it predominantly on the outer corner of the eye. So I'm going to start in the outer corner in the crease. And I don't mind if my color gets on the lid. And I'm just going to work on that outer corner for a bit, and then slightly taking it up into the crease. Only taking this in about halfway, because again, I want it mainly focused on that outer corner. Bring it all the way down to the lash line. From there, I'm going to go back into that first blending brush, and I'm just going to go over no additional product. I'm just going to blend that out so that there's no harshness and it just looks seamless. For lash line, I'm going to be going in with this color right here, and it is called Cheens. I'm going to take this directly underneath the eye up against the lower lash line. Now I'm going to go in with a pencil brush with that basic color all over it and just blend out that darker brown. I personally love a super smoked out lower lash line, so I tend to go a little bit lower down on the eye. And then as I am blending it out, I also like to connect it to the shadows on the top. And then one more time, I like to go back in with that blending brush and make sure that the top and the bottom has no harsh lines and everything looks good. For lashes, I went in with the Ardell Wispies. I absolutely love those lashes. They're super inexpensive. I think you can buy a pack of like 5 or 6 for maybe $12 on Amazon. Great, great deal. So that's what I did. I also put a little bit of lower lash mascara on. Now I'm going to go in with a big duo fiber brush, and I'm going to dust off this bake. For my brow bone highlight, I'm going to be going in with Max Emphasize. This is actually a highlighting powder. I go in with an angled brush, and I'm just going to take that in the highest point of my brow, and then whatever's left over, drag it down to the end. I go in with a little bit on the inner corner, and back in with any blending brush just to make sure that there's no harsh lines. For blush, I'm going to be going in with this Lorac blush in the color Prism, and then my Sigma angled contour brush. But like I said, I like to use it for blush. Pop it on to the cheeks, blending it back into the contour. Now I'm just going to go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pencil and just brush out my brows one more time. Make sure that there are no powders left in there. And I'm going to set my brows with the Brow Gel by Anastasia. And I like to brush my brow hairs up because I feel like it makes the brow look fuller and more natural. For highlight, I'm going to be going in with the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder in the shade Precious Petals. Yes, Precious Petals. I'm super excited to use this. I picked it up at Target the other day. I have never used a Wet n Wild highlight, so I'm very excited. I'm going to go in with that Sephora highlighting brush. So I'm going to pop that on to the cheekbones and then a little bit above the brow bone area. Whew. Whatever's left over on the brush, I'm just going to hit the chin, the Cupid's bow, and then down the center of the nose. To finish off the face, I'm going to be going in with the Smashbox Primer Water. And then back with my beauty blender to make sure that everything looks nice and flawless. For me today, I'm gonna be going in with a darker nude. So I'm gonna go in with MAC's Whirl Lip Liner. And after I line my lips, I like to fill it in completely. And over top of that lip liner, I'm gonna be going in with Jeffree Star Cosmetics Liquid Lip in Christmas Cookie. Guys, so this is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I will see you very soon. Bye!